Yo, what's up, y'all? This Philosophical from the Rap Review Room. Let's get some of the business out of the way. I want to thank everyone and continue to like, share, and subscribe to the page. Also, if you're an up and coming artist and you want your music reviewed here, track and or album reviewed here, do not hesitate to reach out to me through DM, down in the comments. Definitely like, share, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. All of the information will be down in the description box where we review tracks and or albums honestly and authentic in a way that we can make artists even better, help our artists out there that may need that extra assistance of feedback. Our feedback is in law. You don't like it, you don't agree with it, we can debate and become better artists. And that's what it's about here on the Rap Review Room. All right. Today, man, we got another review, man. I reviewed his track a couple weeks ago and I was feeling it. I was feeling it. Uh, CLR, Sky Dwellas. So I went to let me kind of lay out the groundwork here. Um, and this is all relates to the album. You ever in a certain mood of you're just playing music, you hear you're used to a certain type of music, you kind of understand or maybe know what you're gonna get out of music, and then you play that one album and it really exceeds your expectations. And that's how I felt about when I heard Sky Dwellers. I was like, man, this guy has a story to tell. And I said that in my review. Definitely check out the review. Uh, I said it about Sky Dwellers where I was like, I like his story. I like the way the beat marinated. I liked his voice on it. I like the hook. I really like that track. Right. And not knowing who this artist is or ever heard his previous music other than that track, I go into the album. And every time I go into an album, I take certain notes and I take, you know, pride in some of the reviews. And I hear this album. And this is kind of one of those albums where it's a very solid album. It's one of those albums where you ever hear that a lot of the mainstream and commercial artists that are coming out today, they get a lot more attention than a lot of the underground rappers, a lot of rappers you may not know. And this is definitely one of those situations, right? First of all, this album is named Rich Visions, Poor Decisions by Crown Life Republic. And it's also produced by Broadway, right? And when I tell you I listened to this album, it was exactly what I've been saying on this channel, right? As an artist, right, being Crown Life, myself, but also in this instance, being a consumer of music, a listener, a potential fan of your music, it's important to lay the groundwork. If I've never heard of you before, you got to give me something. And sometimes I feel, and this is just a side note, that a lot of our mainstream artists that we've never heard of all of a sudden blow up. There's a certain catchiness, there's a certain type of fun music that we call it here escape music, to where it's an escape to you not having to get to know an artist. But that has a very short shelf life. And sometimes that's very hard to replicate and duplicate on albums. Right. And a lot of times we say, hey, the first single is a way of marketing yourselves, get your name out there. But I think that's changed today. I think albums are starting to become a way of the future, the way of concepts. People really listening to albums to get to know someone. And I've done it, and I've done this myself where sometimes you hear an album and you're not feeling it. I'm like, maybe you're semi intrigued by the album, semi intrigued by the first single, and it's like, this ain't it. But when I played this album, I stopped, man. And I was like, this is a concept album where I got to know who this artist is. The production on here by Broadway fits Crown Life Republic. It's like the chemistry is unmatched. There are 8 tracks on this album. And when I say this album deserves your attention, it does. right? And when I heard this album, and don't kill me in the comments, right? But I don't care. We can debate about it. This has a 50 Cent and Jim Jones. This sounds kind of that hip hop conscious rap between 50 Cent and Jim Jones with a little bit of that story, that concept, that like Havoc type of production. This is the production sounded very like Havoc like, right? So let's break it down here. 8 tracks, Rich Visions, Poor Decisions by Broadway, Crowd, Life Republic. This album deserves your attention, right? So let's start with the 8 tracks, as I said. Rich Visions. Rich Visions is kind of that track that is, it displays in a way of, okay, I got a rich vision, but I got to do it the right way. And we've been saying on this channel that, and I've been thinking more and more that sometimes we're such an it's the fun music, the microwave music, the music to try to gain the audience's attention so quickly that it's short term that you're not thinking about the longevity. And I think mainstream and commercial artists are forgetting that your previous album may be a classic, but we want a sequel to your life. What's going on, right? Tell us even more deeper stories. And just a hit. That's what Tyler kind of does, right? On his new album, and I'll speak about that review at a different time. But as a listener, first time listener of this album, Crown Life Republic, this is what I got, and I'm loving it, man. Rich Visions is a perfect intro. And even now, even sitting here looking at the titles of these tracks, it's a meaning, it's an aesthetic here, right? Poor decisions. Speaking on some of the poor decisions he's made and saying I'm never gonna go back to that anymore. That's deep, man. You don't hear that in a lot of music today. You're not hearing that in a lot of music. Everybody's afraid to be vulnerable. Everybody's afraid to speak on their what they have going on right now because they don't want to feel judged. And to me, I do think artists are playing it safe. Take more risks. And this is exactly what this guy does. To come up. Loving that track, right? Give thanks. Love that track. Just the concept and the order of this album is perfect, man. Perfect. Bright Lights is a standout track on this album. And if you're listening today, Crown Life Republic, I know we've spoken before, right? We've spoken on the Sky Dwellas review. That was a perfect first track. Bright Lights, do a video. It needs to be on the radio. It needs it needs the proper attention more than what I'm giving it right now. Bright Lights is a hit, right? Big Steppers is a great track. Great track. I love the sample in this thing. I love the kind of that samples. I'm always a sucker for samples. And sometimes when you hear a soulful sample beat, the artist doesn't necessarily sound very well. You flow very well on this. And just continuing to kind of hear your journey and your story. And that's exactly what this album is, a journey, right? And then Sky Dwellers, that single was a great single, right? Great first single. And the Almighty CLR, right? Great way to end that album. And I say this to really bring to your attention that as an underground artist, be you, right? It's nothing wrong with being vulnerable. It's nothing wrong with telling your story. But the thing is, continue to tell us the journey, right? This artist right here, CLR, Crowd Life Republic, is speaking in a way that, yeah, I've been through a lot, man. I'm hearing about his jail story. I'm hearing about him really reflecting on some of the bad decisions and really understanding and having the mindset that I got rich visions. I got more than this. I want more than this. But now he's speaking in a way of doing it the right way. And that's what I got from this album. And I've had it on repeat for almost a week now. And I'm liking this, man. And it definitely deserves your attention. And I'm giving flowers to this guy. And I'm going to continue to listen to his journey. Broadway, what a great chemistry. as far as production on this album. Great chemistry. Continue to do you guys' music. And I tell you today, if you've gained a listener, a consumer, a follower, and I'm honored to be able to review this album. And I was thoroughly surprised because I didn't know what to expect. And you far exceeded that expectation, right? So I give this album a solid 8.5. Solid. This album's solid. This album will be down in the description. Definitely, definitely follow CLR. You guys deserve your roses. I made a funny here that definitely, definitely deserves the crowd here. No pun intended. His handle will be down in the description. Definitely follow him. Definitely deserves your attention. Definitely deserves your listen. Give him a shout out. Let me know. Let me know down in the comments. Have you listened to this album? Let me know what you think about this album. Right? Let's debate about it. Definitely follow him. Definitely chime in. Let's speak on this album. And I'm following your journey. I love the story. I love everything about this album, and it's definitely, definitely far exceeded my expectations as far as concept, your story, and where you're going, brother. And keep going, keep grinding. All right, I'm philosophical here. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to the page. Also, if you're an up and coming artist, like I just reviewed this gentleman's CLR Rich Visions, Poor Decisions album, and you want your music reviewed here, right here on the channel, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, send me a DM. Definitely comment down in the description box if you want your music track and or album reviewed here. We will definitely review it here. We give honest feedback, authentic feedback where we help artists become better artists, giving them a little bit of traction and feedback here. You may not like it. We ain't gotta agree. That's fine. Let's debate, y'all. All right. Again, like, share, subscribe. A philosophical from the rap review room, y'all. I'm out. Peace.